Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Hello. Welcome to this new video. So today is the day where I do what I can to make this car feel properly like mine. That means cleaning it, of course, waxing it, putting the sticker on, giving it a name, and a couple of other bits. In this video, I'm going to read out all of the names that have been suggested so far for this car and choose one of them. Oh, you lucky people, aren't you? And the first name suggestion is Keith. I quite like that. Maybe I'll stick with that one. What I actually mean is I don't like that. Keith. But giving it a name I don't like isn't necessarily the wrong thing to do. So that is definitely a possibility. I'll tell you straight away, and I'm sorry, but I am not going to give it a French name. Because it's a French car, give it a French name. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do exactly the opposite of that. I mean, thank you for the suggestions, but it's not going to be called... to me, it's a bit like calling your Rover SD3 your 213 or 216 Hyacinth, your Volkswagen Beetle Herbie, or your 2 Goldfish Starsky and Hutch. It's just cheesy. Sorry, I'm just awkward. That's really it. I am an awkward man when it comes to things like this. You may well say, well, why ask the question in the first place? Think of your own answers. Think of your own solutions. If that's the way you're going to be, you awkward, hairy bugger, I'm not answering anything for you. Fair enough. First job in this car included nipping next door for another favour. Lens tape. Yeah, not Len apostrophe S tape, but lens tape for the crack. And now, back to the naming of this car. Officer Crabtree. Thank you, Windy Miller. That is actually quite funny. Yeah. Not because it's from Hello. It just sounds funny. Officer Crabtree. Maybe I should call it Babyface Finlayson. Or Quincy. Well, here's one way of making sure I can actually get to the comments easier rather than just trying to remember them. I really should be getting on with doing the cleaning of my car, but... oh, there you go. Double me. Big Bertha. That's quite a good one. I like that. Thank you, GPS OMG. Rene says Senior Mustard. He also rather fantastically points out that maybe the extra long bonnet is to do with safety, a longer crumple zone. Yeah, possibly. Except that if you didn't have that really long bonnet, you wouldn't be having the crash in the first place, would you? Pepe Pug, Perrier, Claude, Pepe, Jean-Paul, Michael, Felix Myring, Maniac! Penelope, says Mick Wilshire, or Penelope, as I like to call her, Bloodwin. Simon Pegg the Peugeot, Priscilla, Vanessa Paradis. Right, that's enough time used already. It's already 1:30 and I haven't started cleaning yet. I've already got a short list of names for this car. I have 8 names. Come to that in a bit. Peugeot, washed. And it doesn't really look any different, does it? And that's because it wasn't that dirty to start with, which is always a good sign of a car that somebody's been looking after. Dorothy Puddle Duck. I like that. I was going to wax this car, but I'm not going to bother because it's not too bad. I'm going to save that for the next time I wash it. And besides that, I washed it quickly because I just want to crack on and do some stuff, and I've missed a few bits. Instead, I am going to apply the Project Nigel stickers. But where should they go? You can see by this 45, I think an area like that is perfect on an estate car, on that rear window. Perfect. Obviously it isn't going to work at all in a sliding window. We want something fixed. There it would just look wrong. There it would just look wrong. So what about there. It would be better down here, but I think that works there. Well, it's now been vacuumed out. It has been waxed. It's had that headlamp polished and had some protective stuff put on it. It's also got 3 stickers. This one I'm not too happy about. Should have put it there instead, I reckon. So now it's back to the business of what is this car going to be called? Something sensible is about to happen. The name must be appropriate. It must not be a joke. Jean-Luc Picard. Picardy Breezer. What of my shortlist then of names for this car? I'm about to decide something. I'm going to tell you the ones I like. Can't remember who wrote them though. You know, I mean, multitasking to the level of reading stuff off my phone whilst driving and filming on my phone, definitely not a good one. So, Keith, yes, I don't like the name Keith. That's the point. That's why I think it's suitable. But is it suitable for a car that I do like? Well, we'll soon find out. Officer Crabtree. That's fantastic. If I'd have just thought of that myself yesterday, that's what its name would be now. That's how much I like that one. Dijon, as in Dijon mustard. Also very good. I like that. I like that a lot. It's on the short list, but I'm kind of already thinking that Officer Crabtree's probably going to be the winner here. Leonard. Yes, Leonard. That's a cool name. That's a good, strong name. I like Leonard. That's the sensible choice for this car, Leonard. Another one of my absolute favourites now has got to be Big Bertha. Big Bertha. Fancy calling your car Big Bertha? Yes, I do. I do fancy calling my car Big Bertha. Felix. Felix is good, but I think Felix is going to be for another car at some other point. Probably a Rover, actually. It is the kind of name that belongs to a Rover. And finally, rather controversially, Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg. Yeah, not just Simon, but Simon Pegg. I like that. Oh, yes. Now my friend Peter, who's offered me, a very good friend of mine called Peter, has offered me some excellent financial advice in regard of the value of my car called Nigel, has said that he doesn't think I'll have this car for very long. But I wonder why. Do you think I'll get bored of it? Do you think someone will just say, oh, do you want to sell that car? As they do. That's usually how I end up selling cars. It's not because I want to do. The ones I do want to do end up still sat in the yard a year later. Anyway, before I carry on and do the next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do the Blackston Edge challenge in this car. Now, if you're familiar with some of my videos, you may know that the Blackston Edge challenge is to try and get up Blackston Edge in 5th gear. But this has 6 gears, doesn't it? So I think if you can do it in 5th, then it wins. If you can do it in 6th, then I should call it horse for being the winniest of all. Name Me -1 has suggested that this can be remapped to 220 brake horsepower, an extra 50 brake horse. That's quite significant. But do I really want that? Well, it'd be nice. But then you just get used to it and then you wouldn't think anything of it. What's more important though would be for it to be remapped for torque and economy. Maybe that would actually be included in there. But 170 should be enough for a car of this size, although it is actually bigger than I thought. I shall explain. Now, I've had the Rover 45 Saloon parked next to the 600, and it's actually the same length, which surprised me. And the 600 is basically the equivalent of the 75, and I don't think there's very much difference between the 45 and the 75 anyway, might be like that much. But this part next to the 45, well, it really does overhang. It overhangs loads. Quite amazed. Why couldn't they just made it big on the inside as well? This Fiat's still doing 30. We're in a 40 limit now. I should just overtake it, because I'm never going to get at Blackston Edge in 5th gear doing 30 miles per hour, am I? Always feels a bit rude overtaking though. I don't know why. Because it isn't rude, is it? If someone's going slower than you want to go, you overtake in a safe manner. If you overtake in an unsafe manner, then yeah, that is rude. And you shouldn't do it. Well, it's pulling very easily in 5th. Very easily indeed. Too easily. 6th gear. What will happen now? Gosh, this is quite impressive actually. Oh gosh, it bogged down a little bit there because of that corner, but I'm still pulling. It's pulling in 6th gear. Gosh, that's impressive. Yeah, there's only so fast you can go with the amount of bends that we have here. So that is really, really impressive indeed. The limit is 50. It would be easier if I could do a bit more. I am amazed. Seriously, that is impressive. It doesn't need any more power. If it can do that, 6th gear, all the way up Blackston Edge and be pulling, I think I quite like this car actually. It's definitely not what you would call a quiet engine. I really wasn't expecting this, but this is a fantastic car. It really is. I knew I liked them. I liked it so much when I drove Greg's. No, it's not the bakery, by the way, but the man who owns the car. And then I was expecting to like it, but found myself thinking this car really suits a Rover driver like me. This is a bit like having a Rover because it's quirky, but it's where Rover could have been had they have carried on going, and they could have built really good quality cars like this. What a shame. From a time or soon after, Peugeot were known as making cars that nobody was interested in, including themselves. They made a car as good as this. Back to Rover, the topic of Rover. Imagine if Rover were bought out by Peugeot instead of BMW. Yeah, and they could have continued with their quirky stuff and their stuff that has some national identity. You see, when Rover were owned by Honda, they made really good quality cars that were better than their direct competition. But then things just went downhill. They went downhill when BMW took over and started to streamline things a little bit. They went downhill when BMW sold them to some crooks, and then they disappeared off the other side of the hill and over the quarry, because none of the decisions that they made were good decisions. Imagine Rover being part of Peugeot. That would have been fantastic. That would have worked. I'm sure of it. Get over there, you duck. So that's a Peugeot driver. I mean, yeah, the majority of them don't really seem to pay much attention to what they're doing. But actually, besides the rather floppy indicator stalk on this, I'm really blown away by the quality of it. Everything's screwed together properly. It's a really good car, and it's got fantastic brakes. I'm about to choose the name. I'm going to choose the name in 1 minute. From that short list of names, the ones that I've decided, it's either going to be Big Bertha, Officer Crabtree, or Simon Pegg.
That's it.
Oh gosh, it's recording again. Well, as it's recording, I may as well talk to you and tell you that I've made my mind up between the three names of either Simon Pegg, Officer Crabtree, or Big Bertha. Well, I've made my mind up which one it is. Except I can't decide if it's the right one or not. Welcome and thank you very much to whoever it was that suggested that this car should be called... I forgot the name. It's no good if I keep forgetting the name, is it? Officer Crabtree it is. Then I think this car needs its own theme tune. A bit like some sort of you know, I figure it wants a Russian inspired tune. Yeah, like something ever so slightly Prokofiev-esque. Thank you very much to everyone who's been sporting enough to help think of a name for this particular car. You've named it. Somebody did anyway. Thank you. And thank you for watching, of course. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for being a channel member. Only 99 pence. Oh yes, it's worth 99 pence. Isn't it? Come on. Come on. See you in the next one. Just that button. Make sure you like this video if you like it. Don't be cruel on yourself. Press the like button if you do like it. If you don't like it, then fair enough. But if you do like it, it will help you watch another one at some point in the future. Surely you'd like that. Hey.